It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Can I fix, if y'all don't mind, can I fix my pocket square? What can I say? Hey. It's the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live. I almost came to you live yesterday. Yes, I almost came. I just arranging everything. I almost came to you guys live Sunday, but I'm here live Monday. Now, my normal start days and times are Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, binge watch all my back episodes, spread the word. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers in the next 60 days. So roughly we're talking about by the end of Labor Day weekend. So spread the word. I'm going to need y'all to spread the word like you spread the word about that Zoom conference call that Black Women of America made. Black women, y'all like the Justice League and the Avengers like combined. 45,000. That was a low number. 45,000 black women on this call supporting Vice President, I'm speaking into existence, soon to be President, Madam President Kamala Harris. So, as a matter of fact, I've got one. I think both of my guests were part of that Zoom call last night. Then there's one for the men tonight. All right, so as a matter of fact, well, first of all, let me say this. I had the honor to have a sit-down conversation for my radio show with President Joe Biden back in January. It was like around the 8th or 9th of January. So he was that's my guest you hear in the background. They forgot to mute their mic. They'll be back. They'll be on in a second. So he is a good man. He is a decent man. He's an honorable man. And he's been one hell of a president in terms of just legislative, in terms of laws that got passed. He got more accomplished. President Clinton, President Obama, definitely the Bushes, HW and W, Ronald Reagan. As a matter of fact, probably got more done, according to historians, more legislative accomplishments in 3 years. In 3 years. Not even a full 4. Since FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So let me just be honest, because I want to hurry up and bring my guest on. I really don't like the way some of those in the Democratic Party nationally, because you really had like two factions. You had like the Biden faction and his camp, and some of the old guard, Democratic guard. But today is not the day. I'm listening. You know what? Teeth, as my mother taught me, teeth and tongue fall out, and they share the same mouth. And I get it, because what we cannot do is we cannot let Orange Hitler back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because this election, and I'm going to say it again, it is a choice. It is not a choice between like a political party. Not really. It's not about a person, a personality. It is a choice between your freedom and your oppression. And those who want to oppress you and destroy you, they are so bold. They have said it with their full chest stuck out, and they have printed it up like a giant almost like a giant Bible, 922 pages thick, Project 2025, that we talk about on a regular basis. So when I heard about 1:45, I'm actually texting, just chilling, sitting up actually in my bed, about 1:45 in the afternoon, and I saw it broke across the television, came across. I just happened to have on MSNBC, and like the anchor, like in mid-sentence, I guess they handed her the note and said President Biden said he's going to step down. And then not even 20 minutes later, he said that he endorses, not only just supports, but endorses Vice President Kamala Harris for president. So it's been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk. So let me off the top before I bring my guest in, two dynamic, powerful, brilliant black women who, like I said, I believe they both were part of this call. So let me speak to the brothers across America. And this is not the vast majority, because the vast majority don't fall into this category. But the percentage of you all that do fall into this category, the misogyny and the sexism, and those who think that if you buy into the same misogyny and sexism that this MAGA cult does, that somehow you being a misogynist and sexist toward a black woman is going to save you from the racism of the MAGA cult. It ain't. It won't. Even your money or your political power, prestige. Hello, Tim Scott. Hello, Byron Donalds. You played yourself. Tim Scott got on television last week at the Republican or the MAGA cult convention. Let me call it what it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, but the devil was the lion. Oh, our king came back. You made a fool of yourself. And Owen Hitler gave you his ass to kiss. He was never going to make you a vice president. And the same goes for you, Byron Donalds, and the rest of you all that have sold out your culture for a check. But listen, beware, because the majority of brothers who just put in the work and do what they're supposed to do, the media is not going to focus on us, because who wants to see black unity? Who wants to see black men and black women loving each other? The truth is, and I just pulled the receipts for you all, okay? 85% of black men have a black wife, and 93% of black women have a black husband. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to let the devil and the MAGA cult and the white nationalists try to pit us against each other, because it's always going on social media, the Russian bots. But listen, save the sexism. Millions of black men like myself are going to call bullshit, and we're not going to have it. In the barbershop, we're not going to have it in the gym, at the rec center, in the locker room, wherever, sitting around watching USA basketball, win that gold medal, and we're not doing that. We're not having it. All right? Because what we know is that the majority of black folks in America, just like our grandparents, we love each other. We could not have gotten here. We couldn't have television shows and radio shows and media companies, and you wouldn't have a Barack Obama president and Michelle Obama and just so many dynamic black people without the sacrifices that our parents, that our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, against all kind of odds, in the throes, the height of Jim Crow and lynching and rape and murder and burning down our communities that we have built up, who were more thriving than the white communities, like in the Greenwood district of Tulsa. So listen, I could go on with that, but I just want to make it clear to, spread the word. Black men, this is a call to you, all of us. What we're not going to tolerate is the racism and the misogyny toward presidential nominee Kamala Harris. And I don't give a damn about her dating Willie Brown, who was in politics in California. I don't give a damn about Montel Williams. I don't give a damn about her husband being Jewish. I don't give a damn if his ass was an alien. I can give a damn if he was a she. What we are not going to do, we're not going to play that game, and we're not going to tolerate it, especially on this show and with my media company, because I'm going to call bullshit. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Do you want to have a conversation? Feel free to jump in that chat room anytime you want to. Leave me a conversation. Now, let me bring on my guest. I just had to get that part off my chest. So, every Friday, we have fun. Funny Friday, big fun on Friday. My guest co-host, media personality extraordinaire, professor, educator, entrepreneur, businesswoman, was part of my morning show, co-hosted my morning show with me back in the just a little while back in Detroit City. And my other guest She was a former South Carolina state representative. She works with the city of Hollywood. She is also brilliant entrepreneur, mom, and a novelist, an author. Her pen name, Nicole Spencer. We know her, and you all know her, both friends of the show. Let me welcome Kelia Karson Krystle Matthews to the show. This is what we call black woman magic right here. Melanated beauty, black woman magic. Don't F around and find out. Because y'all know, because y'all see, look, me keeping rocking with me from day one, and you've seen Krystle Matthews on this show several times, so you know they got that don't F around and find out energy, because you will get it.
Yeah.
If you want it, you'll get it.
That was definitely the energy last night. Just to clean up a little bit from your monologue in the beginning, win with black women. So I want to shout out
That's
proper
the hashtag,
name.
yes.
That's the group that held the call last night.
Yes.
And also, let's be clear, that is an unofficial group that comes together just as a melding of the minds to make sure that we have information, so that we have the truth. If you have talking points, because many individuals on that call were for media and public relations, also for people who are organizers, so you understand the messaging and whatnot. So that's the kind of call that is. And last night, most of the time was spent really, Geno, energizing this group of women who are supporting Vice President Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Because remember, Geno, I called you on Friday and said, Geno, what's going on with this election? Didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I said,
right.
Wait,
hold on, let me just say this. Now, remember, Key didn't even do the show Friday.
That's right.
She's still celebrating her birthday, but now this was so important because Key is always here for me. She never misses, because, I mean, my viewers love her, but this was so important. In the middle of her celebrating her birthday, she was like...
I said, Geno, we gotta, what's going on? Because I'm getting scared.
Sure did.
And President Biden, thank God for a man that would put country over politics.
And himself, his own
and
ego.
Himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we could feel that something was wrong. There was an apathy. I think just kind of a collective, Lord have mercy, can we pull this through? And that was the jolt, the shot in the arm that we needed. And so last night was about, okay, ladies, we got it.
So
let's
Key, let
rock
me jump
and
in.
roll.
I want to ask you and Krystle both, because I believe you both, Krystle, you were on the call too last night, right?
No, I wasn't able to get on. It was full.
So, yes, it was terrible trying to get on.
That's what I heard.
I tried to get in on the spinoff room, and that was full as well.
Yep.
So,
so what I want to ask you, ladies, real quick. So, Key, I think you mentioned it at the top. This conference call with this group of this organization, Win with Black Women, they've been having these calls for about 3 years now. This is not new.
No,
and this is not new.
No, not new. And typically it's about 400 or 500 people. So they didn't even.
So I am a part of Win with Black Women. So yes, they have been doing this for a while now. Yeah.
And Krystle, I'm assuming that generally it's about 400 or 500 women at a time on the call.
Yeah. So typically, and so what I want people to really understand about Win with Black Women, and there are so many other groups, is that they start off small, and then as like-minded people keep joining, that's how they grow and catch this momentum. And last night was just through the roof.
Yeah.
$1.5 million.
Yes.
In 5 hours.
You black women who were on that call who couldn't get through but still was sending texts, $1.5 million in a matter of like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Jones is we all know Star Jones, first a prosecutor and then, a talk show host, and reality show kind of person. But Star Jones kind of spearheads the financial arm in financial fundraising for the group. And she put it out there, we're going to do another $1 million. So, because this money is going to be needed.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, it takes a lot of money. People don't realize you can run a local race in your city, in your township, that could cost you potentially, like in a place like Detroit, you could be in $40 million.
Well, Key, it's funny you say that. So let me jump in. Right before I came on, the last numbers that I saw, I think all between Act Blue, Krystle, you know what Act Blue is. I guess it's a fundraising arm of, I guess, the Democratic Party.
It is.
And groups like Win with Black Women, I think together in like 24 hours, virtually, they're right at $100 million.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
In a day.
In 24 hours.
That's crazy.
She crushed every record out there in a day. And this is a perfect example of sometimes people don't know what they want until they see it. Because if you had asked anybody before now, they would have told you no. They don't think it's possible. I really was excited to have this conversation, and I called Geno like I got to come on the show because we talk about politics all the time. And so one thing I want to make sure I impress on people is that Joe Biden was the candidate. We've moved on. We have now moved on. Whatever happened or was wrong, we've moved on now. And I love that about us because we can't get stuck in these silos that the media wants us to get stuck in, which is why, Geno, you having your own show is so important because we don't have Black media that projects the things that we want to say and the things and the information that we want to get to the people. So Win with Black Women last night, they didn't wait until the day after the announcement to start organizing. They started that night. So if you thought you had time to catch your breath, oh no, honey. Oh no. It was done.
And Krystle, let me just jump in. And you come back and Key, you can come back too after this. But I wanted to piggyback, and I want to say this again about the media, because those who watched me last week, Key gets it every episode, and so does Krystle. So they saw me say it. I want you all to understand this, as they call it, this corporately owned media. Your ABCs, CBS, NBCs, Fox, not like MAGA TV, Fox News, but they're all owned by the same person, same family. CNN, all of them, Newsmax, News Nation. You've got to understand that their number one goal is not to save democracy. They don't give a damn about democracy. Les Moonves, how many times, if you watched the show, I apologize because you've heard this story many times. Former president of CBS, all the CBS, programming, movies, sitcoms, dramas, news, sports, all of it. He had to resign, some sexual improprieties, whatever. So he was interviewed by some news outlet, and they said, back in 2016, the media, all media gave Donald Trump so much free advertising. Do you think that kind of hurt democracy? And Les Moonves, and I'm paraphrasing the quote, but you can Google it for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't take my damn word. You can find it out for yourself. Les Moonves said, basically, yeah, it was probably bad for democracy, all the free airtime we gave him, but it was great for business.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Understand. That's how they are driven. And that's why we have to make sure that we are over the top with our narrative on everything that we want our people to know, because they are not going to cover things that they think we need to know. They're going to cover what I put a post up last week. Black trauma and Black drama, golden.
Yes.
I mean, they use it for everything. They will use us for our trauma and our drama, but they will not ever publish us when it's something substantial that our community really needs to understand.
Krystle, the word Key worked in the news media. The word, you know this, Krystle, being in politics, it makes the Black trauma that you just spoke of, Black drama and Black trauma, makes a great video. Oh, it's great video, and it reinforces this racist narrative and stereotype that those in power want to project, not just here in America, but globally, about black folks. So, man, y'all got to understand, as Eddie Murphy said back in the day, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. All this about the media's the fourth estate and holds government basically accountable. Forget about all that. This media here, corporate media, it's a business. And at the end of the day, they will make a decision that's going to be best for business, even if it is the demise of this democracy. They don't give a shit. I'm just giving it to you straight.
So I want to settle us in. And Geno, you know I'm a teacher, and Professor Karson, I am not a credentialed educator, but I do like to teach folks when they're watching me about things that I don't think they know. So in that same vein, let's go back, right? 1787, when they wrote the Constitution, we were only counted as 3/5 freedmen.
Yes.
So they didn't write that for us. All people created equal, the right to bear arms. So that whole first 10, the Bill of Rights, we weren't included in that. So I don't know why people act like they're so surprised that we have to constantly fight for the things that we get. And when you're having these conversations and they talk about Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation, me and AJ, you know AJ, Geno, we always talk. But y'all understand, please understand that they were using us even back then. The only reason why we were freed was because that's the only way Lincoln thought that he could win the Civil War.
Right, but let me just go back.
He wanted us to... Go ahead.
Crystle, let me rewind something because it's so important. Because you talk about 1787 when the original Constitution was written. It had the paragraph, all men were created equal. But Africans were 3/5 human. But what word,
and that did not include women either, white women either.
That's right, that's where I'm going. Right. What word was nowhere in that Constitution? I'll give you $10,000 for every time you find the word woman in that Constitution. Women weren't even mentioned.
I guess we're going to be broke.
So Africans,
we're going to be broke.
Africans were 3/5 human, but they only referred to African men. Women, black, white, or otherwise, which goes to show you the misogyny, sexism, and patriarchy, they didn't even think enough of women to even mention use the word woman in the damn Constitution. So I just wanted to go back to that point, Crystle. Go ahead. I didn't mean to jump in, but that was
so when we talk about blacks being a part of the Republican Party back then, I need everybody to understand that they were a part of the Republican Party because the Republican Party back then was the party of Lincoln.
Yes.
Right.
And because Lincoln so-called freed the slaves, and I put so-called in parentheses because he actually said if he could have won the war without freeing any slaves, then he would have. He didn't really care about black people. He just wanted to win the war by any means necessary. But when they teach it in the history books, and when black folks talk about, well, the Republican Party was the original party of black people, a lot of them don't even know the basis of what they're saying. It wasn't because it was beneficial to us. That war was never about us being free. It kind of rolled into that as they saw it was gaining momentum, and then it became a thing. So when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Lincoln, it was only because he wanted them to join the U.S. Army.
Yes. And
many of us don't even realize that because he wanted us to help them fight.
Right.
If it wasn't for that, y'all, we would have never been cut loose.
Right.
Please understand that we would have never been cut loose
Lincoln
if it wasn't for the fact that they needed bodies.
He was not an abolitionist, not at all.
He was not an abolitionist at all. That is false. That is a false narrative. That is fake news at its best. So when we talk about the history of parties, right? Well, the Republican Party was the original party of black people. A lot of people say that, and they don't even understand why. Wow. It was because it was the party of Lincoln, and because Lincoln freed some folks because he wanted them to fight in the war, because his only goal was to win the war by any means necessary. And he even said it. If I could have won it without freeing any slaves, I would have.
So Krystle and Key, I want to put this on the table because I know all three of us actually have daughters that are millennials. Crystle's daughter, who's not millennials, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Crystle's daughter, that's a Gen Z, is in the military. Shout your baby out, Krystle.
Oh.
Brooklyn is in the military. She's my baby. She's my second oldest. She is
Navy.
Why is your mouth open?
Is it
Because
Navy?
you don't look old enough to have a daughter in the military. That's
Girl, I got two. I got a son and a daughter in the military.
Well, thank you for the service. I mean, that's huge.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
And Key's got my niece, well, my niece is Ariel.
Yeah.
That's a Gen Zer. Allie, who's actually down here with us just to try to get a break after college, Gen Zer. So, it's funny, I was talking to Allie, so I'm going to just give you the brief part of the conversation. This is when everything broke with President Biden stepping back. She talked about how she was frustrated. She was saying that her peers, her Gen Zers, really don't know enough about politics. She was frustrated because they hadn't been taught. And that she knows her situation is different, obviously, from being around her dad. But she said that you don't need to talk to me. You need to talk to some folks out there, but they're really not hearing it. So she talked about, I guess, the sense of apathy and despair, which has kind of always been something among, young folks, late teens, early 20s. But having sons and daughters that are Gen Zers, I want you, what's your recipe? I want you two, Kelia and Krystle, to speak to that. What do we need to do? What do you feel we need to do?
Well,
talking to Allie, I guess that we need to have a conversation with them and try to educate them like you were just doing, Krystle.
I mean, I don't think, honestly, I think our Gen Z generation, and I'm speaking specifically of Gen Z, I think Gen Z is going to be fine, especially with us as their mothers. Because, see, even last night on the call, it was, okay, so we know that we have women who are professional here, who are in politics, who are in media, who are educators in every corner of the world, right? But we are mothers too. And our children, Gen Z children in our household, they already know. So they're not just born, out of a pod and today they need to be educated. These kids have been knowing the work because they've been watching their mothers and their fathers out there campaigning or raising money or just going to the voting booth and sending in $7 if they got it. So they are already exposed. So we just need to get them activated.
To reach, because there's a sense, I wish, but Allie would never have it. She's like her mom. She don't want no parts to be on camera. But because I really wanted it to come on, I wanted us as from Gen X's, baby boomers, greatest generation, to hear from them, because we talk to them as parents and aunts and uncles. We're always telling them stuff, but a lot of times we don't really know how to listen to them. So I was really curious to get that feedback from her, and I wanted to share that with both of you, especially since we all have Gen Zers as kids.
Geno, when the information came out, and then I'll yield to Representative Matthews. When the information came out, my daughter was on top of it screaming, "Mom, did you hear?" So they're already in it with us because they have mothers who are an example and fathers who are an example of that life every day. So I think they are going to be fine. They just needed something to believe in. And Kamala is something they can believe in.
Okay. Krystle, give me your take, please.
So what's funny is that, I actually have 5 kids. So I have the 2 oldest, but then I have a 14, 11, and a 10. And I was in the car with my younger kids, and I felt like Asada Shakur because, I was explaining to them, like, Tupac was really ahead of his time. And that's because of his mother. And because of what he was around constantly. He had a lot of sense early, which made him very, very dangerous. intellectually. And so our kids are very much the same when it comes to that. I have to agree with Key. 10 hands down. We definitely include our children, and I definitely educate my children when they come home and they tell me about somebody. I mean, like just like Lincoln. I don't care what your book say, but let me tell you what's the behind the scene. Let me give you the tea on what's really going on with that part of what they're teaching. That way, my kids certainly understand what they're looking at and what they're hearing, because we can't leave them to their own devices to try to filter through all of this information. Part of being a parent is helping guide and lead them. But another thing that I have been saying is the best thing you can teach your children to do is be swing voters, because the issues in the policies are going to change from year to year. And not only that, but just like we saw the parties take that turn, right? Because it wasn't until when Nixon came in that the party started to switch, because he saw that they were losing a lot of white people. So he just went ahead and doubled down, which is what we're seeing right now. The Southern strategy was to breed into that racial fear and disparity and get all the white folks to come over to the Republican Party, because all the black folks left when Roosevelt became president.
Now, that's a good point, Krystle. Just let's since we're doing a quick history lesson. So 68, that's like the line
1968 Nixon.
That's the year. Remember, President Lyndon Johnson, who took over.
Now think about 1968 wasn't that long ago. That was like right before the 70s.
Yes, my point exactly. So President Johnson took over when President Kennedy was assassinated. He decided that he wasn't going to run because he was taking so much flack because of the Vietnam War. So between the Vietnam War, you had I guess what would have been considered like Gen Zers in 68, young white kids, late teens, early 20s. Then you had the Black Panther movement. You remember Malcolm X was assassinated in 65. Dr. King was assassinated in 68. You had the riots. Detroit were kids. Chicago, all over the country, LA. So, you had young people on both sides kind of like rebelling, like what the hell that we're doing. Now, for those who don't know, basically, Southern Democrats really were racist. And so what happened when President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, fair housing, all of that, like 64, 65, 68, the whole 9 yards. Basically, all your Southern Democrats became Republicans. This guy, Lee Atwater, who's from South Carolina, they came up with, like you said, Krystle, with the Southern strategy to criminalize hippies, young white kids, and black folks.
So it was the engaging in the racial fears and ignoring black voters was the foundation of the Southern strategy. And so when they started going out, it was controlling black rebellion. Sounded a lot like slavery, right? So so they became the party of law and order. Do y'all hear these dog whistle words? These are dog whistle words from 1968 that are still being used right here in 2024 to control black people and garner whiteness as a whole. And when you talk about women getting behind each other, I mean, we do have some allies on the other side, but white women, they have not had to see through the lens of racism because that's not been their plight. So that thing that coalesces us together, I'm not saying they don't have it at all, but they don't have it the way we have it because they haven't necessarily been required to look at life through those lenses. So it's a whole different type of sisterhood, right? It's sisterhood, but survivalhood all at the same time. And so for us, it's a matter of galvanizing. Now, I just told you, Geno, I was on a call before this call and debating about, the whole men versus women, the black men versus black women thing. And I hate it. I've only ever dated black men because that's all I'm attracted to. But at the same time, I'm here for it. And you said, Geno, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. But to the media, they love to pit us against each other. And so I am simply shouting from the top of my lungs, we are not against each other. We are one. We are united at the hip. There's more of us together than there are apart. Are there outliers? Yes, but there's outliers in any race.
Yeah.
Read just that, Geno.
There's the receipts. All right, now you do the Google search. It'll come up real quick. Don't have to take my word for it. This is as
just
of
like they want us to believe that.
Right, and this is as of 2021. The census, do the receipts. There you go, right there, y'all. I'm just.
You know.
So we are still together. We are still raising our children. Black fathers are some of the most active fathers I know.
Yeah.
What came out of that call that I was on was he was just saying a lot of Black men feel like they're not being heard, and I get that, right? I do definitely get that, but that's where we band together to make sure both of our voices are being heard, because I think we work in tandem and we have different strengths. But we have to make sure that, again, the Geno Jones Show, Black media, is pumping out what we want our people to see and hear versus what mainstream media wants us to see and hear, is that we're fractured. Right. Just like the African, they stopped the commercials about the kids in Africa starving, but that used to be a thing, you know. Right. And they clapped back and they said no. They actually released a YouTube video. It's still out there if you want to Google it. And it says, no, CNN, this is Ghana. And they did a video of all the malls and everything and how there's different parts. So anyway, that's still available on YouTube. It's CNN, this is Ghana. Clap back from them. But yeah.
Some of the richest people in the world are on the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
Like
why do you think rich white people moved to Africa?
Yeah, Lagos, Nigeria, Ghana. They've got, I think it's Accra, the capital. I mean, you wouldn't listen. You wouldn't know. You would be like, I mean, high rises. It's a big city, just a bunch of Black folks. You'd be like, oh, he would think, oh, man, I'm in Detroit, and the thing I haven't had the honor to go, but everybody that I've talked to, that's gone to the continent of Africa, be it Ghana, or Nigeria or South Africa. I had one of my best friends went to South Africa. He said, you know what? It's like everybody over there looked like somebody back in Chicago.
Yep. Exactly. No. Exactly.
But
so galvanizing around Kamala is necessary.
Yes, and we're not going to be distracted by this crazy messaging that's getting ready to, that has already started.
It's already started. She
from
slept
the Republicans.
She was doing this. And listen, let me just say this, Key. With this immoral ass, adjudicated, found guilty in a civil trial, sexual assault, the judge in the trial said that there was enough evidence to prove to him that Owen Schindler raped E. Jean Carroll. 25 women, 25, as they were saying to media, credible accusations of some kind of sexual harassment to sexual assault, who was bold enough to say on camera, you can grab women by the pussy, excuse my French, but I'm using that word just because he was that crass and casual. And then he said, oh, and they'll let you do it because you're a celebrity.
Right. So, Geno, I want to be very clear to the viewer. The messaging, there's going to be a very specific message for Black people to help break us up where it relates to voting for Vice President Kamala Harris as President of the United States. They're going to do two specific things. One, the white husband, because these are things that they feel the Black community, right? And they're also going to use her as a prosecutor, because against her own people, saying, do you want this person who locked your own people?
Like you said. Yep.
Right. So
yes, we do. We want her.
Exactly. Because they
those people weren't in court because they were law-abiding citizens.
Exactly.
She was a prosecutor for 13 years.
Yeah.
What did y'all want her to do with the people coming in her courtroom? I don't go to court for fun. I don't just show up at court because I've done nothing. So I get it.
So
we be asking
people,
for crazy stuff like free Junebug. Junebug done killed 3 people in the neighborhood. Free
so you know what I'm saying.
Junebug.
Don't be like Geno said. Don't be caught like the banana in the tailpipe. Don't pay attention to that, because those are some things that they're going to use to try to push the buttons of Black people. Because listen, we're talking about the 45 or whatever thousand women that came together last night on that Zoom call. You don't think they know that happened too? They had it on CNN as breaking news. So they know too, and that is scary. So they are already like, oh, we got to break this party up. But they're not going to do it.
Let me just say
they're not going to do it.
She was the San Francisco district attorney. She was the attorney general of California.
Yes.
I'll just use Krystle and I are here in South Carolina. Key, you up in Detroit. Just look at the track record. Annie here, Key, we call him, Krystle, correct me, solicitor, is basically like the attorney. We don't use the term attorney general. We use solicitor, right, Krystle, here in South Carolina? Key, but we have
an attorney general, but we have solicitors as well.
Okay, so we do have an attorney general. I know they have one in Key.
But
guarantee
it's not the same role.
And these are white people. I guarantee you the majority of folks that they locked up, what they not going to tell you, was white people.
Exactly.
But you ain't never going, oh, well, you shouldn't vote for that. He locked up a whole bunch of white folks. He was locked up.
Let me tell you something. When they were talking about the solicitor, Scarlett Wilson, and they showed that video clip of her saying that Walter Scott got himself killed because he didn't comply. And I was on the ballot that year. I got elected, but I was at the Coliseum greeting voters. And I heard some voters run up to her and was like, girl, we voting for you. We don't care what they say. And they were black women. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, that doesn't make sense. But so
Tim Scott got cousins,
This is
Krystle.
one thing I want to make sure that y'all hear me very clear on this. These folks are entertaining Black people that they wouldn't entertain in any other setting, but to use them as political pundits to get people off their base.
Amen.
Hear me again, because I can't name another time in my life that any reputable Black or white person ever ran to a Negro with felonies, a criminal past, a criminal history. The only time they want us in those factions are when we are being mentors to our own and so-called controlling them, or when they want to use us as henchmen on other Blacks that might get in the way of their power. Do you understand me when I tell you, be careful about these folks in your neighborhood that you wouldn't even let babysit your kids. When they start getting on the news and when they get on social media and they touting these white Republicans that you know don't mean you no good, because I ain't saying all of them, but the ones you know don't mean you no good. When they start hitting the ground and rallying for them, you better know it's something at play behind the scenes. You got to use that good thing the Lord gave you called a brain, because these folks wouldn't consort with them for any other reason but to use them. And the fact that they would be used is fine, because there's always some defectors. Just like they sent Black people to catch other slaves.
Let me just to really just turbo boost and get like a Mountain Dew or a Red Bull IV boost on what you just said, Krystle. And I'm just going to harken back to the MAGA cult last week between Miss Amber Rose, who I'm not Black, but now she was Black when she pimping and making big money off Black culture, and had a baby by a Black rapper, and then was with another Black rapper. And she was Black then, but now she ain't Black. And you're Byron Donalds, who's a representative in the House of Representatives out of Florida, U.S. Senator Tim Scott, who embarrassed himself.
I called him the pick-me.
Yep. Yes. Mr. Gummy Bear himself, Tim Scott, got up there and they made a fool out. And then that one pastor, that clown up in Detroit, that sold his church out and let all them So the funny part, this, Chris. So the brother
I
got a
remember
church,
that.
but virtually none of his parishioners was in there. They had all these white folks that they
Exactly
bust in. Like they was in there, like they was in that church every Sunday and Wednesday night Bible study. And do y'all think we stupid?
Right.
Some people are so starstruck that they lose their mind for a couple dollars.
Yeah.
But that's how they pick us off. And one thing that I keep hearing, because I posted on my page about, Kendrick Lamar, Kodak Black telling Plies, we won't allow any Trump slander. We rich, bro. Well, first of all, you got rich on the back of those that aren't rich. Number one. The white folks, they weren't the ones buying your music, getting you to that level. It was us. So the fact that you would say what's good for you is you don't care if it's good for the group. That for me, that's very problematic thinking, because that is not how we've made the progress that we have made until now. Everybody that boycotted the buses, they didn't need to, but they did it in solidarity because they understood that one of them getting something is not the same as what it looks like to break it open for everybody. Right. Because once you break it open for everybody, it's broken. It's going to be something that's lasting. And we don't need people that's just here to make personal impact. That's why I tell people, if you are having arguments in barbershops and boutiques because you feel like you are smarter than the people you're talking to and you so-called know all this secret information that makes you better than, what are you doing to affect the whole? Right. We have a lot of people that like to talk in silos, but it takes a whole nother set of balls to put yourself out there for the public to scrutinize, to put yourself out there to run for office. We stay waiting for them, whoever them is, to put up a candidate we're excited about, but them is us. Yeah. Them is us. The fact that y'all don't feel like y'all good enough to run for nothing is on you. That is on you.
And let me just speak to Kodak Black. And listen, I got love for my people. You all know that. Absolutely. I love people, humankind. But I'm unapologetically pro-black because America has been anti-black. I'm not anti-white or Asian or whatever. But I am pro-black in a country that has never, forget pro-black, just we ain't going to F with you and pass Jim Crow laws and lynching. Just leave us the hell alone and we'll be good, like we were in the Greenwood district. But let me just speak to Kodak Black. I'll name check you. 50 Cent, I got to name check your ass. Let me see, who else do I need to get? Waka Flocka, he's showing his ass. Sexy Red, she really don't know. But let me explain something to you all, Key. I know you and I talked about this. If you think that your money and your fame or celebrity kissing that cult's ass is going to save you when they really come for you, your money won't save you. Like I said in the beginning of the show of my monologue, fellas, your misogyny and sexism will not save you from the racism of this cult. And your money won't save you either. Key.
Well, listen, we're not going to worry about any of that because Donald J. Trump will not be going back to the White House. Let's be clear.
So let me give y'all a little information for the viewership on how this works. So if you don't know what a delegate is, let me go ahead and give you that definition.
Thank you, Chris.
Delegates are individuals chosen to represent their state at the party's national convention. The DNC, the Democratic Party's national convention, is August 19th in Chicago that week. It was originally planned to be a virtual vote the first week of August to automatically elect Joe Biden because, as you guys know, it was not an open primary, so he was the only candidate on the ballot. So they do have a couple options. They could choose to continue with the virtual vote, or they could choose to delay it, or they could choose to cancel it. If they do cancel it or delay it, it will happen at the convention itself. The delegates will vote. Every state has a certain number of delegates. There are roughly 4,700 altogether. In order for any candidate to be on the ballot at the convention, they have to get at least a minimum of 300 delegate votes. So I hope everybody's with me, right? I hope I didn't lose anybody.
No.
300 is the minimum.
Gotcha.
300 delegate signatures is the minimum to be on the ballot. Then they come together and vote on who the nominee will be. So how many ever of them can get 300 or more, that's who the delegates will have to vote between at the convention. Now, this Wednesday coming, they are going to hold a rules committee meeting. And in that meeting, they're going to talk about how to go about this next part of the process with getting the delegates together and what they're going to do as far as assembling everything as far as the rules go for this convention, because this is something that has just happened, as we all know. That's why we're all talking about it. And so they're going to lay that plan out for the public. The rules meeting will be a public meeting. So on the DNC's YouTube or Facebook, their YouTube page, on the DNC's YouTube page, you will be able to see and hear the conversation and the result of what comes out of that meeting. I don't have the time. I apologize. I don't have the time that the meeting is going to be held, but it will be on Wednesday.
So all right, Krystle, let me jump in. I want to ask you questions that people have been blowing up my phone since yesterday. Now, first of all, if I'm correct, that to, I guess, qualify to be to represent the party, you've got to have at least, is it 1908?
No, so you have to have a simple majority.
Okay.
You have to have a simple majority of the votes to win the nomination. There's no win number associated with this, because again, we're not coming in with a group of candidates that we already have the number of, and we can split it up and kind of say this person is going to need this amount to win. So we don't have the figures to kind of approximate that. This is a clean slate.
Let me ask you, so was that basically about the primary? Because even though you had like Dean Phillips, but basically every state that like Joe Biden won, didn't he automatically get so many delegates per state?
So again, this is why the Rules Committee is going to meet.
Okay. Because
I don't know if he can necessarily just give her all of his delegates. I do believe it's a clean slate. I keep using the word clean slate because I want people to understand. I think we're starting from zero here.
Okay.
So again, this is why Wednesday will be important. Because they will lay out the process for how this is going to happen in detail. And so watching that video or watching a playback will further let you know in detail how they're going to do this. But I believe this is a clean slate. So anybody who wasn't in that wants to get in, if they can secure a minimum of 300 delegate votes, that's not counting super delegates, right? There's former presidents and there's what they call super delegates, but delegates, 300 or more, your name will be listed on the ballot. So imagine it like a write-in, right? Joe Biden's name is already on there, but his name is the only one on there. But now that he's out, there are no names on it. So all of them, even with all this momentum behind Kamala, right, she's got to secure those 300. Now, I don't think she'll have a problem securing that to get her name on the ballot, which is fine, because they can commit early. They can commit now, early before the convention, or they can wait till the convention.
So
they have a choice.
Let me ask Key, since Key, you were on the call. Now, grain of salt here. I was watching channel surfing, really not so much surfing, but I did see last night on the news that I think this morning it said like basically the party chairman of all 50 states, so like the Democratic Party chairman of all 50 states, shout out to Krystle Spain right here. Krystle, isn't that her sister's name? This head of the Democratic Party? Krystle Spain.
Yeah, Krystle Spain.
So they said basically like the chairpersons or people of every state, the Democratic chair people,
they already committed.
Said that they were going to support. Okay.
Nice.
And
that was
supposedly
last night.
A lot of that happened on the call you were on last night. Am I right, Key?
Last night that was announced. And as a matter of fact, Donna Brazile, who is a part of Win with Black Women, was on the call. She was making calls. All of the Congress women that were on the call were
in real time,
making calls on the. No, honestly, I mean, this was in real time. You could see them on their cell phones when they weren't speaking, because they were like, "Hey, we need." Because for people who don't understand how this works, you got to rally in the background. That's why they call, like, the Speaker of the House the whip. You got to whip those votes. You got to get those supporters, and you need them early, fast, and furious, and while the momentum is up. And so that's what they were doing last night. And the announcement.
I think the strategy is for her to get so much momentum that it kind of stifles anybody else who's thinking about trying to come in. It's almost like getting out there early. That way your competition is like, you know what? She's already kind of got it wrapped up. I'm not going to fool with it, just to make it an easier pathway for her, because she still has to fight against Donald Trump, which, again, as a Black woman, as a proud Black woman, we can eat any man up in a debate. And I'm sorry, Geno, but we can, because we are women of many words.
Yeah, I grew up in a house full, so that's probably one of the reasons I'm so good at what I do. They would tell you, Gina got to get the last word in. And it's funny, the only person that I have never been able to get the last word in, and anybody that knows me, and Keith will tell you, is Allie. I met my daughter.
Your daughter.
Sometimes I'm like, damn it, because it's like I'm talking to myself, or myself is talking to me. I'm like, damn it.
But yeah, so we got a lot. We got a lot going on this year. This curveball has been an exciting curveball. So you know, I was never a real staunch supporter of Kamala, because I wanted her to put her hair in a ponytail. I need to know she can fight. So that's just me. But you know, I am supporting her 100%. People have been messaging me and asking me. I've definitely been posted on my page. I am going to bat for her, because I feel like we forgive everybody else.
Let me
everybody
say
else.
Let me say this, Krystle.
And you still bank with them.
It's funny you said that. So let me. This is true story. As a matter of fact, I think, Krystle, you were in office. You may have been out there. So, the Democratic Party, they have this big event at. I think Krystle was at Jenkins Orphanage. It was outdoors. It was. It was what was it?
The
March or
Fish
April?
Fry?
No, it wasn't the fish fry. That's up in Columbia.
The Blue Jam?
They had all the candidates that came out. Michael Bennett.
The Blue Jam.
The Blue Jam. Yes, that's it, Key. And I remember, and I actually got a chance to kind of do like a sit-down, almost town hall.
He came with a marching band.
With Vice President Harris. The Black Expo here. That must have been.
He had a marching band at the Blue Jam.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. I got a chance to actually talk. It was, and I don't know what happened, how I can't remember how I got this access to somebody. But anyway, I was talking to her, and it was like I'm talking to you all. I mean, it was, she was real. And then she got on stage, and the speech she gave, as a matter of fact, I walked back up, and I told her to her face. Because I knew, you know, at the time, she was running for president. That's right before she dropped out. And everybody, well, you know, you can't be this way, you know, all that old bullshit. I was like, Senator Harris, I said, who's you that we saw on stage, I said, that could win. I told her, I told her campaign manager that.
You know, I want to say this because not enough, or people don't understand the power of PR, public relations, public perception. People don't understand the power of how you are perceived, right? Let's push that to a side for just 1 second. Kamala Harris has been vice president now. She is vetted.
3
That's
years.
over. Okay? She has been in the trenches. And what we feel about her personally, her husband, she's got an attitude. She's an AKA and I'm a Zeta, you know. All of that. That is petty. What we
Yes.
got to look at is the big picture. The big picture is we have someone in position. That's key. She's not on the outside anymore. She is in position.
Yes.
Okay, to make things happen, not only for all of America, but for a population of Americans who have been disenfranchised, who have been marginalized. And we cannot let all this other stuff get in the way of what that is, because it is hard to get in position.
My God. Yes. Say that, Key.
Okay, period.
And a lot of people, and I can tell you from experience that a lot of people don't understand, when you are a Black woman elected, you are the bottom of the barrel.
Baby.
I know a lot of Black men feel like they might be the bottom in corporate America, but when it comes to politics, honey, we are the gutter. We are definitely the seat at the bottom of the barrel for sure.
And
we got to deal with. We still have to deal with.
Speaking from experience,
we still got to deal with sexism, racism. We still get sexually harassed. People making little side snick ass comments. I mean, people still sabotaging you from the inside that don't want you to make no progress. We still have to deal with that. For her to be able to deal with that and get as far as she has is enough of a notable achievement for me to say that she has the tenacity that it takes to win this race and run. Because we have got to stop trying to make people, they say Democrats need to fall in love. That shit, you don't gotta love the people that you elect.
No, we don't.
I ain't in love with nobody I vote for.
Right.
I don't even really know them. I mean, I know them, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I never understood the need to be in love. Well, I didn't like her personality. She didn't give me enough time. She smiled wrong. She had a gap. Really,
she didn't invite me to the White House, to the park.
Right. Everybody is. I mean, I represented 44,000 people, Key. I can't touch every single one of them. So think about how many people she's gonna represent as the vice president or the president. It's astronomical. The fact that you want her to reach down and get your little gummy self is crazy to me. What?
Yeah. We are voting for President of the United States. We have a Black woman in play, in position. Are you kidding me?
I am not voting for her just because she's Black. I am voting for her in spite of the fact that she's Black.
Exactly.
But I am voting for her because, again, I believe that women get things done. We are the author of balance.
Yes.
Women provide balance. We understand the finite line between too much and not enough.
Yep.
And I think it's high time that in all these years of having a country, since 1787, we have never had a woman president. That is crazy to me because there is not an industry or a household that can run
without a woman,
without the touch of a woman.
Really, since 1776, and the how did I want to say this? It's just that we've come. I can make an argument that yes, when I think about our grandparents, our great grandparents, I think about my grandfather was born Yazoo City, Mississippi, a little small town in 1888, and just think about everything he saw. My grandmother was early, I think, the early teens. She was born in a little small town, Arkadelphia, Arkansas. So, yeah, that we made progress, but you've got a cult and you've got a blueprint that's 922 pages thick that you can download on your tablet or on your computer right now. If you're watching me on your computer or on a TV, you can go get on your laptop or your PC and download Project 2025. The plan is to take this country back, not to 1950 or even really to 1824. Listen, I have two women who now have daughters that have less rights than you all had most of your life. No say over here in the state of South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention South Carolina, there are 3 attorney generals. I saw a lot of people saying please forgive my student loans before you leave, right? Bye.
Wow.
So I want the folks in South Carolina to understand when they watch this, your attorney general is one of 3 that is suing about the student loan forgiveness. Alan Wilson is the attorney general here.
Yes.
Do y'all know that Alan Wilson has ran unopposed almost his whole term? That it's things like that when people claim they're politically astute and they want to argue on Facebook about shit like Kamala Harris, and I'm sitting here like, wait, did you run for something? Because there were plenty of open seats. Oh, well, girl, no, I can't run because my mouth ain't this and my mouth ain't that. Well, then you don't want change. So if you're not willing to put yourself out there, it's really easy to criticize from the couch. It ain't so easy when you are in the fire, while you're in the chair and the fire's on you. And 3 in the entire United States, and ours is one of those 3 that don't want your student loans forgiven. And you mean to tell me this man ran unopposed?
Yeah.
And let me just piggyback what Krystle was talking about. I don't have to love you. First of all, it's not about love. It's about getting the job done. And I'm going to say it again. This choice is not about, and President Biden, actually, when I talked to him after we finished doing our 20-minute conversation / interview, he was like, we can't let this guy win. I'll never forget, he kind of leaned into me and said, we can't let this guy win. He said, because it's not even about me. This is about our democracy. It is a choice. You are choosing between your freedom and your oppression. Right. And these people, they are showing you, they have printed out the blueprint that you can read for free. You ain't even got to pay for it. That's how bold they are. They're full chest stuck out. They're like, oh no, we ain't even going to charge you. You can download it for free. Just make sure you got a whole bunch of typing paper, because it's damn near 1,000 pages. And we are telling you step by step, systematically, ban abortion, ban birth control, criminalize women and their doctors terminating their pregnancies, even if it's a 12-year-old baby raped. Get rid of the Department of Education. Take public money, our tax money, where you won't have any more public schools. Send it to especially these Christian white nationalist schools. And then, by the way, but Project 2024 wants to get rid of the Civil Rights Act, all that, Voting Rights Act. So these schools can legally discriminate, say, no, we don't want to let any black folks in, even if you have the money to send your child to a private school. But at the same time, they want to require all young people to take a military entrance exam. And in states like Arkansas, they want to do it nationwide, which is part of Project 2024. They want to get rid of child labor laws. Oh, you got a 10-year-old, 9-year-old. He's pretty big for his size. She's pretty big. Send him in the factory.
He can work all day.
Because listen, that old crazy Huckabee chick that worked for Orange Hill, she passed that law by Krystle, am I right? About a year ago.
You're right.
Got rid of the child labor law. And they got all those factories in there. I mean, that's the home of Walmart, Sam's Club, Purdue Chicken. They want to send the kids. So they either get rid of public schools. What's going to happen? Kids, they can't afford to go to school. What are they going to wind up on the streets, working in factories, in the military, or in jail?
I want, for people who think that slavery is just, or was just about black people, and I'll end with this because I am voting Kamala Harris in November. That is the end of that. And you better too if you want your freedom. But I want to say, for all of those who think, slavery is about those darkies and those black people, baby, slavery started with white folks. Y'all were the first. So good luck with that.
Enslaving each other. And that's a whole nother show. All right,
exactly.
Listen,
good luck.
That's a whole nother show.
So, Key, before I let you and Krystle get out of here, I want to, because I know both of you all are very strategic. I worked with this one, Krystle, when she was like the youngest one, fresh out of college when we worked together in like 95 is when I went to Detroit. Yeah. So she was just a little young, a couple of years younger than us. We had a pretty young staff. Skip, our program director. But anyway, there were some folks who were more veteran than we were. But everybody it was like they looked up to Keela. She was like, she the youngest, she
As a
damn near the
pit
most
bull.
organized, which is why her and I vibe, because
My type of people.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had that same drive and focus, attention to detail, and we wanted to make sure that we had it right. You know, we didn't like
Yeah.
being right. I was about, we didn't use the word receipts, but me and Keela both was coming with receipts. She would be on the phone, Geno, I got some receipts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
and of course, Krystle, I know you are very strategic, the way you've moved politically and still moving. So what's the strategy that you all see going forward? We got like a sprint. The good thing, I think, the fact that we only got 107, 106 days, even though early voting starts in some states in late September.
September. Yeah.
So I think that might help out Vice President, because, you know, they can only do so much. If it had been a long, drawn-out primary, they probably could have gotten that back room. And Krystle, you know, being in politics, how shady it can be. But what strategy would you, what's you all strategy, or if you could talk to Vice President?
Geno, this is all about, as we're now saying, and I'm praying that this hashtag goes worldwide and it sticks. We are talking about the prosecutor versus the felon, and there is no other choice.
I like that.
Are you telling me that we are nominating a rapist, a felon for president, an insurrectionist for president? We're not doing that. This is America, and despite what all some people believe, we are American, and we love this country. This is where we are, and this country is going to be better for it. So my only agenda is to say, get your butts to the poll and cast your vote for Kamala Harris for president. There is no other choice. Forget about a campaign slogan. There's no choice.
And take a gang of folks with you. Act like your ass was going down to the Essence Festival like you did when y'all rented an SUV and you had about 15 people of y'all. 15 of y'all was sleeping in the same one hotel room.
Wow.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000 now. You know how we do now. Come on.
Well, I echo those sentiments, Key, because I always tell people this is our shit too. So you know, and I'm waiting for somebody to tell me go back to Africa so I can say visit the country, because Africa is a continent, but I know you didn't know.
Right. And while you at it, you can take your ass back to what part of Europe did your ancestors come from?
Exactly.
So Krystle, so Key, I really want to get, and Krystle, I'm so glad that you reached out to me, because I was going to reach out to you. I see a similarity between you and Vice President Harris in this way. You ran a successful campaign in a very red state. You represented a district that actually had more white Americans, non-melanated, because this whole whiteness is some made-up bullshit. There's no DNA test that's going to say, oh, you're like 85% white, but I digress. So there's some similarities, and you ran a successful campaign. So what would be your strategy, or what do you see going forward? Or what is it that we need to know or need to do, or just offer your strategy?
I say hit them fast, hit them hard, and hit them often. You know, once you start to fight, you can't stop punching until you win. I believe that's the strategy here. You can't be worried about people's feelings and what party they're with, and if you're going to step on their toes. I think you got to be authentic to who you are, 10 toes down, and I think that's the way you win. I had the lowest BVAP of any Democrat in the state, black voter base, and I didn't get wrapped up in that. I didn't give a damn. I require Republicans to give me their vote too. So I would say don't get wrapped up in the D's and the R's and the blues and the reds and all that other shit, because a lot of what they got going on is the same. But I tell people all the time, it's a family affair. So would you rather have somebody in there that you can call and get on the phone and try and get something you need in your state, or would you rather have somebody who only talks to their friends and talks to their cronies about what they're going to do, and you can't even get any traction for the things that you want to do for the community, because they're dealing with 50,000-foot problems, and you're down here at 10,000 feet saying, hey, I just need y'all to send some relief over here in this area. My town don't have a rec center. My town doesn't have anything for the kids to do. There's no money here. People need help with their roofs, with their housing.
Right.
You want somebody that you can get on the phone and that you can call, because don't believe that this ain't a friend to friend thing, okay? If y'all keep believing that, y'all crazy. This is just like you want a friend that's the damn CEO of the company. You don't want somebody you don't know, because they're not even going to answer your call.
Exactly.
So,
President Biden said, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog.
That part, yeah.
But listen, people get so confused, and our Black people, some of them shy away when they feel like what we're saying is over their heads when it comes to politics, and that's why I try to do a lot of teaching and breaking things down, because I want them to understand that it's really not that difficult to really get a hold of what's going on. I can relate it to almost anything. I have a 3-layer cake key that I talk about all the time, and it helps people understand politics. And if you can bake that cake, you can get anything you want done. But it's sometimes breaking it down. And when we talk about, I put on my post, well, Donald Trump supposedly gave you a check. Well, yeah, shit. So did Bill Clinton. He also gave you the 3-strike law. I mean, come on. I mean, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and Trump
for real.
didn't give you
like,
that check. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in Congress gave you the check.
But you see my point, though, right?
But
ignorance don't say that. Ignorance
says
Donald Trump gave me that check.
Exactly.
Ignorance says Bill Clinton was the first Black president, even though Bill Clinton, again, you can Google this on YouTube, gave a public apology because he said he thought that law was going to do good, but it actually locked up more Black men than anything, and it was a mistake. He apologized for it.
Yes.
And they still call this man the first Black president. Get out of here with that. Y'all better learn how to read. I don't know what's going on, Geno, but I'm telling you right now that is a problem within our community, because we hear what we want to hear and we see what we want to see, because when we feel like we're out of our depth, we shy away and we turn our heads to it. We got to do better at reaching those who are ignorant and don't really understand to the same degree as those who may be educated. And by the way, I am a non-degreed engineer. I am a non-degree state representative, and I am a non-degree person who is still officially Black History in South Carolina.
Look at it with a bad self. All right, so Vice President Krystle Matthews, who's your running mate? And then, Key, I want to get yours.
I don't really have a person for the running mate. I've been hearing all the names they've been throwing around.
Yeah.
They like Brashear, apparently.
Yeah.
That's
and Cooper. Is it Cooper?
Roy Cooper.
Pennsylvania.
North Carolina.
In Pennsylvania. But
that's Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So
I don't really have one. Who do you have, Key?
I don't, because I get the strategy either way we go, right? If you do a Gretchen from Michigan, where I am at, it's a double woman it's 2 women, but you got a Caucasian woman, Black woman. Gretchen, what you bring with that is the Caucasian women in the suburbs that might have voted for Trump, right? So I get that strategy. I get Pennsylvania because that's a swing state and we really do need it. So I'm not worried about Kamala's choice, because Geno, I think whoever she chooses, it doesn't matter. She's going to pull through. Yeah. I think and I know what you're saying, but I think even the Democratic base, and I think the swing voters are fired up no matter what she does. I think they're just fired up that they have someone that they can vote on, and it's not Donald J. Trump.
Well, let me just. So I got some strategy. I think you all will be impressed. But Key know me, and then Krystle, you know me too. But you were talking about white women. I find out this afternoon. Guess who is like online showing major love to Vice President Kamala Harris? these
Nikki
Swifties.
Haley?
They got like Swifties for Harris.
Oh, really? Oh, but you know
Yes.
what? She's
Wait,
always been
but
a stunt.
hold on, but
She's
this wasn't.
always been
This
10
was
toes
them.
down.
This wasn't like Taylor Swift. She didn't like put a tweet and say, "I'm supporting." They did this. This is organic.
Yeah.
But you know, she's always been really hard on women's rights.
Yes.
Taylor Swift has. She caught some flack for that actually last time around. But she has always been a staunch supporter of women's rights.
But did
you see that Nikki Haley's pack is getting behind Kamala?
Yeah, I saw that. But when organically it wasn't like Taylor said, y'all do. They did this on their own. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Interesting. But see, these are younger women who, like you said, Krystle, because Taylor really represents the millennial, closer, more millennial, Gen X, the early 30s, that really this slaps them in the face. They're in their reproductive, like the peak of their reproductive years. And you just gonna tell us what we can't? The state's gonna take control of my body? Like, get the fuck out of here. So here's
if you wanna go ahead.
I think Kamala's gonna do well no matter what, no matter who she chooses as a running mate. I think now the base is fired up. Swing voters have an option now that doesn't look crazy. I think we're going to be fine no matter what.
I agree, but hear the strategy out, you all. So, Roy Cooper would be cool because North Carolina, we could really use it because Barack won the first time. We haven't, Democrats haven't won that since. But
Barack.
And I thought about it, and then somebody called and asked, hear me out. Senator Mark Kelly, Arizona.
Okay.
Military, astronaut. His wife survived a horrific, shooting, Gabby Giffords.
Yep.
Arizona has a Democratic governor, Kathy Hobbs.
Yep.
So she could appoint. She would be the one. I know most states are similar to this, Krystle. The governor, if a senator winds up, either has to step down or they wind up, if he became the vice president, that vacancy, the governor would appoint at least somebody temporarily. They would have to eventually have a special election. Am I right, Krystle? Isn't that how that usually works?
Yeah, that's correct, and that's how we got McMaster. So yeah, I mean that's how we got him. Yeah.
So what do you all think about that?
No, I mean, Geno, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I'm open to a few different ones of those.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm with Key. I'm not. My vote ain't based on who she picked for vice president.
You don't
Amen.
Vote, they always say you don't vote. You don't vote. You vote for the top of the ticket. Bottom line.
And I mean, in this case, because some people do need a strong running mate, I think Kamala is going to be golden no matter. Short of choosing a maintenance man, she's gonna be fine.
But the national, that would just be the checkmate move. It's like, oh damn, she got this dude. Because
I get it.
Central casting, the resume, just the whole foreign policy. That would be.
I get it, but Geno, that's just a cherry on the. I am telling you, this election is different.
It is.
I think Democrats just needed a possibility. And now that we have it, and it's an exciting one, I mean, you're into the feeling almost of Barack Obama.
You know what? I haven't seen that excitement since then. But here's the big question, and then Krystle is going to tell us about her alter ego and her novel,
her book.
And Krystle, Key and I got into this conversation. I actually copy and pasted you what I texted her. Knowing, after hearing a man say that you could grab a woman by that part of her body, 53% of white women in 2016 voted for Orange Hitler. Then in 2020, I think it was like a point more, 54%.
What did I just tell you? White women are about survival, not support. Survival and not support. I have white female friends that are married, and when we have lunch and go out to eat, we have conversations all the time. They ask me questions, I ask them questions. And one of the things they were very clear on when I talked to them was that white women who are unmarried get treated differently than white women who are married.
Ooh,
So
I heard
again,
that too. I heard that before.
they
Yes.
are very clear about that.
Whoa.
And so, for them it is different. I mean, it's different for a lot of different reasons, but they are about survival. Okay, so be not dismayed if you think every white woman that's married is living happy hunky dory in her life, I mean, a lot of them take a lot of medicines for that very reason, to fight depression, anxiety,
The majority, the largest demographic of Americans that are on public assistance
mental health meds
are white women,
Yep.
young white women.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it ain't the black welfare queen. That's some other bullshit that they try to propagate. So I guess I say that to say I feel we're in a different time, and then the whole thing, that's why when I saw about these Swifties on their own, it's like, you see this hashtag that was exploding on social media, Swifties.
You know what? I love white people who know how to be white. Like, I don't need you to act black to be my friend.
Yeah.
Like, whatever your white way is, do it, honey.
Do
Do
that.
it to the 10th power, whatever it is. If you support Kamala and you a white woman your way to the top, whatever it is. Write it all the way through, damn it, all of it. I want it all. The potato salad with the raisins, the pasta salad, whatever it is, damn it, do it.
Right.
If y'all gotta have a white potluck or some kind of party, a wine tasting, a tea, whatever it is, please do it.
You got the money, get the permit.
The green light to go.
Yep, get the permit for the stadium, pay for the rally, do that. We don't need you. Look, we don't need you to get no braids and no twists.
We don't need none of that. Kamala don't even wear her hair like that. Listen, I'm in for a charcuterie board party. If you fundraising for Kamala, invite me. I will come gladly. Please invite me. Listen, white women got their own way. I ain't mad at it.
Right.
I'm not mad at it.
What is it? Do you?
Do you?
Do you? Right, we got
I'm here for it.
All right. Author Nicole Spencer, tell everybody a little bit about your novel and where they can order a copy or order a signed copy, and if you're going to be going back on another book tour.
Okay, I don't have it with me because I think I sold out. I don't.
And I love that picture, Shirley Chisholm, you got behind you. Don't think I didn't notice that.
So Shirley is like my spirit mom. Yes. I feel like she could have been my mom in real life because when I read her book, it just reminds me so much of me. But my book is called Even Broken Crayons Color by Nicole Spencer, Nicole with the H, and it's a small snippet on surviving single motherhood, the shit we want to say out loud. And it's written for people who are connected to single mothers themselves, fathers that were with or married to that are now single mothers. It's just our way of having a voice to vent without being called angry, aggressive, or bitter. And it talks a little bit about my story and when I first got pregnant and the obstacles I went through with the church and that I went through with my family and things like that. And then it goes into, just kind of us venting about the things that we experience and we see and people not really knowing the hardship of the details on how it gets done, but still expecting so much out of us. I mean, we still have to work. We have to be mom. We have to be sports coaches. We have to do all of these things. And yet we still show up every day in society 365 days a year and get it done. And we most times don't even know how we're doing it. And then it goes into some of the things that we need to address in remedy, right? So dealing with some of that passed on trauma, dealing with obstacles that come with being a single mom. How do you do childcare when you have to choose between your child and your job, and when you have to figure out daycare? I try to give as many solutions as possible to get their minds going on ways to kind of overcome some of the struggles, because as a single mother of 5, I've definitely been there. And we didn't plan to be single moms. A lot of us, we thought that we would have another counterpart with us. And sometimes life happens. Life be lifing, as they say. So that's my book. It's available on Amazon. Again, it's called Even Broken Crayons Color by Nicole Spencer. So if you just look for Nicole, Nichole Spencer, you should see it very easily, because there are a lot of books that say something about color and broken crayons. But yeah, Nicole Spencer is what you want to look for, and you want to look for that subtitle, a small snippet on surviving single motherhood, the shit we want to say.
Krystle, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media. Because, listen, her posts, her lives on like Facebook, Instagram are fire. Trust me, y'all.
Yeah, I be in my feelings sometimes, and when I get in my feelings, I go live, and
She does.
I just be like, I let it rip. You can find me at Krystle Matthews on Facebook, and you can find me at Krystle Matthews 81 on Instagram. My Instagram is public. My Facebook is not. If you post crazy stuff, I will not accept your friend request. But there's that.
So shout out to the Divine Nine, all the Black Greeks. I know Kelia is down with the Zetas. Krystle, are you part of the?
I'm not Greek. Geno, I don't know why they haven't been like. Why can't I get an honorary? I'm in my 40. I'm 43. I'm probably not going back to school. I've been an elected official. I've been an engineer. I've been a mentor. I mean, I'm out here.
Krystle, we have honorary members. We have honorary members in all of the Divine Nine. Now,
nobody's trying to show me no love.
Listen, talk to your whatever Greek of the Divine Nine that you would like to be in. Talk to one of them and let them know. We have honorary members every year.
Okay.
Well, you got a Zeta on camera right there with you. Y'all been vibing for an hour, so I'm just saying,
I got some cousins that's Zetas too.
Hey.
All right, well, hey, you got the connection. I can text you.
Yeah.
I can text y'all each other's number. Y'all can take that.
Yeah,
and do that
I'm like,
thing.
yeah. I mean, they don't be showing me. They don't. I'm like,
It's
I
okay.
guess I ain't celebrity enough. That's what
We'll
I'm
work on that. We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
I'm on BET, and I'm like, man, I ain't famous enough yet.
We'll work. Listen, we got it.
All right,
we got you. So I will make sure y'all can.
And I'm from Ohio. You know that, right, Key? I'm from Ohio.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay. You are
from
a neighbor.
Sandusky. I got family that live in Detroit, though.
Okay, yeah, that's just up the street.
See,
yeah.
Come on,
that's a neighbor.
God don't make no mistakes. All right, Key. You still celebrating your birthday? It's still July.
No, listen. In September I start the DOC degree, the doctorate. So I got to
party over.
Get it
the
in.
party's over.
Get it in now. You might as well go ahead and get it in now, because you ain't gonna be able to get it in for a minute.
Yeah, the party is over. I got to wind down and get focused because I'm slow. I didn't slow down a little bit. So I got to get myself together.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we still gonna steal on Fridays, because Fridays ain't the same. Your other mother, she like, where's Key coming back on? Because I thought she was coming last Friday. So first thing she asked, where was Kelia? How's Kelia?
Yeah. And I do need a break, because I'm sure the schooling is gonna be rough. And tough. So coming on Friday will be a nice relief for me. So I'll be here.
All right. So
therapy.
Yes.
As you all, those who've been watching the show for over 3.5 years, it'll be 4 years in October. I said, wow, 4 years. I'm proud of myself. And Kelia's been down from day one, and Representative Matthews has basically been down from day one too. So I love both of you all. You all are family to me. You always have a permanent home. I appreciate the perspective. It was so important that we got to hear from Black women. Because listen, Black men, we had our shine, and when Barack ran twice, Black women were 10 toes down with Barack Obama. So we as Black men are 10 toes down, and don't let them colonizers lie to you. All right, see that?
I know that's right.
We love each other.
Do you know there's a meeting tonight for Black men?
I'm jumping on it when I get through. Yeah,
I sent him the link.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Well, it's funny. So she sent me the link.
I've been sending that link out all day.
Good job.
She sent me the link, And I had already went online and registered and everything.
Gotcha.
I told her,
Okay.
I said, but good looking out, sis. But your man is already on top of it. So thank you all. I love you. So let's, we'll keys on every Friday before you get locked down. Maybe if Monday work. I love this Monday. This is a great way to start off the week. Because
we
like
can
you
do
said,
it Monday.
We got to go hard. We got about 106, 107 days.
Yep.
We going hard. What is the key? Hashtag the prosecutor.
Hashtag prosecutor versus felon.
Thank you. Here we go. Yes.
There is no option. Are you voting for a rapist or are we voting for? Come on.
The person, because that was her specialty when she was the I think Attorney General.
Yes.
She specialized in prosecuting sex crimes.
Thank you. And
But they mad though.
And the MAGA people want the law and order. So hello.
Right. She's the law prosecuting the disorder.
That's all.
That's all.
That's it. So that's my hashtag, and I'm sticking to it.
The prosecutor versus
felon.
I love it. And I love you both. Thank you, ladies. We'll see you soon. I'm going to try to I love to do this at least like once a week, every other. We got to, because like I said, we got a short window here, so we got to go hard and go strong. And Krystle, you are a wealth of information, so keep us, when you come back, I want some more details about how this delegate thing works, because there's a lot of people asking questions. So that was invaluable. Thank you.
Watching, so I can see how it comes out.
Yep. So, thank you for that class and understanding how this game works, because you were in it.
That's what I'm here for.
She was in the throes of it. So it's more than no.
I mean, and it's serious. I mean, they are meeting Wednesday, and we will know. So hopefully by next week, Krystle can report.
Yep. The
what
DNC
this is going to look like.
Yep.
Thanks, ladies. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. They are brilliant. They're just beautiful. I love both of them, and I want to thank them for coming on. Hey, listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Thank you for hanging around today, too. Let me go over here. I just need to try to move something over here. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. The Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m., 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers in the next 60 days, roughly. So tell everybody, as my man Nelly would say, everybody, just to go to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in Geno. That's Geno Jones Show right there. Subscribe, share, screen grab. Leave your comments. Please leave your comments on this episode and every episode. Leave me your comments after you subscribe and share. You can copy and paste the link. You can text it. You can tag it. You can post it on someone else's page. Do all of that. Screen grab, rip some of the video, chop it up, make it go viral. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show, CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. KelBe Cutting Up, KelBeCuttinup. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show, along with Mr. Bruce Gage. Check Allie Jones and her Lexi Jones collection out at LX.NCL_LX.NCL_ Bruce Gage, Miglio Di Mario Uomo. That's Miglio D.I. It's an Italian name. Miglio Di Mario Uomo and Flyball the store. MIGLIODIMARIOUOMO. Flyball the store is FLYBALLTHESTORE.com. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.